know how I do.
Song of the Siren disjointed the fight and came back in favor of Fnatic.
Greetings and welcome in. We're into the second half of this weekend broadcast day. Hope everyone's had a wonderful Sunday, or I guess if you're in Europe, it's now officially past midnight for you, so hopefully you're having a good Monday morning if you're spending it with us. We've got two best-of-3s in the Eastern Division on the way. To lead things off, it's going to be CDEC taking on Team DK, a very important series for CDEC as they are sitting pretty in our standings, and a win here guarantees, at the very least, a chance at a high seed in the bubble race playoff. A win here also gives them a shot to direct qualify to Las Vegas, something many would have thought was unattainable if you went back just 2 or 3 weeks ago. You can see they're sitting at 4-1. This is going to be their 6th match, a chance to improve to 5-1. And Trout, I don't think there's been a single team in all of D2L play that has impressed and exceeded expectations the way CDEC has over the last, call it 14 days.
Tournaments leading up to D2L as well, and specifically in China. And to be honest, they didn't look too pretty. They were a relatively new squad. They were under LGD tag, as you said, as they're still sporting it, actually. But they've really impressed, and I think the experience of playing together has really come a long way for all these members, and especially watching out for Maybe. It's just been a real treat to watch them on heroes like Shadow Fiend.
Could not agree with you more. And if you missed that match, I can't remember who they played, but yeah, just look back through the match history, find a match of Maybe on Shadow Fiend, and watch Mantas for days. 6th place, though, is where Team DK sits, but still, they're right on the fence, and really there are a lot of teams that are right on the bubble, and DK has a chance to get themselves over the hump and back to even before their final match, which will give them a chance, obviously, to improve to 4-3, which seems to be the magic number to at least be in the race for the playoff, for the bubble race, I should say. And, you know, DK, a replacement team for Newbie, who dropped out earlier. I've been impressed with them, but just in a different way. It's fun to watch them develop, and I feel like we've gotten enough looks at them now that we've gotten to see them develop their own kind of style and find a new kind of path for themselves.
I think this is a team that really struggles from inconsistency issues, or I should say consistency issues, because one second they'll look kind of meh, and another second they'll look like they're one of the best teams in China, beating the best like LGD. So it's just suffering from consistency issues and making sure that they can maintain that high level of play throughout every game. But specifically watch for CTY and heroes like Lycan in the mid lane.
We're jumping on into the match. It's going to be, again, DK taking on CDEC, a very, very important best-of-3. Hope you guys have got your rarest placed or whatever the case may be, because Game 1 starts right now. And moving on into the draft, we can see we're about halfway through right now, and Well, what do you know, Trout? It's these heroes again. In the East, to be honest, we're not seeing nearly as much variety in terms of drafting compared to the West. Seeing a whole lot of early bans on all of these heroes or picks. Skywrath and Brew make it through for CDEC. It's Faceless Void and the Ogre Magi for Team DK. But yeah, then look at the bans after that. Like, it's basically, you could just about script it.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Morphling ban comes out here. They seem to be banning that a lot, too. Faceless Void, I thought for sure Venge was going to be picked up
10 seconds remaining.
In the first two, but obviously it was banned out. These heroes, like, you don't ever see Avenge banned out in the first two in the Western scene, for instance. So they really
might make through.
Yeah, it might make it through. One of the most boring heroes to watch for me personally, but it might make it through nonetheless.
Naga did not. I think we're all rejoicing.
Oh my god, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, these are the supports that are more highly I talk about it every Eastern cast, I feels like. But the Ancient Apparition and the Vengeful Spirit are very sought after in the Eastern scene. And look at that. Venge banned out in the first two. So
yep, same with the Tidehunter, and we've been talking about that for a while. And to tell you the truth, Centaur, I think, has been elevated to that recently. And by recently, I mean literally over the last week. He's always been a good hero, and he's been almost, it seems like every team has one player who kind of counts Centaur as a mainstay, you know, as a player that their offlane player generally who's just pretty damn good. It's just a matter of how in the mood they are to draft it. And lately, we've been seeing a lot of Centaur pickups in the Eastern scene. DK going with Pub Stomp, going the Faceless Void plus the Witch Doctor. Got to see a couple of good Witch Doctor games earlier today, actually, in our Western scene. And we're going to have a rebroadcast coming up following these. I usually, honestly, it's based on time, because by the time we finish up, it's so late that it really just comes down to how many games I can actually set to rebroadcast. But, of course, you can find all of the VODs at D2L.gg as soon as they're available as well. But seeing the Brew on the other side from the Faceless Void, also really like seeing the Skywrath out on the other side as well. Skywrath is one of those heroes that does benefit a lot from picking up a Yules, and just being able to Yules the Faceless Void whenever he chronos, so long as Skywrath isn't caught, not to mention being able to drop the hammer on him with Mystic Flare. It's not a hard counter, but it certainly does complicate things for a Faceless Void. Yeah,
I think anyone picking up a Yules is a great way to deal with him, at least until he gets a BKB. So it's a good item. Crystal Maiden's picked up here for CDEC. This is something that's a little bit more popular in the Eastern scene as well. This duo in particular, the Skywrath and the Crystal Maiden for supports. So one of the things that's great about Crystal Maiden is you can utilize her global mana regen. With heroes like Skywrath and Brewmaster that desperately need the mana, especially Skywrath, that ulti costs like 350 at level 1, 575 level 2, and 800 mana at level 3. It just chunks through his entire mana pool. But not to mention, these are two very high damage dealing supports. And it's actually, they work well together because Skywrath is super fast and has a nice long range slow. Crystal Maiden, super slow, but has like very high damage dealing spells early on. So it's a nice kind of interaction.
One thing that does immediately jump out as a worry, though, is, you know, the Brewmaster, when he splits, he's a force of nature, at least for a while. But the Skywrath Mage and the Crystal Maiden are very susceptible to any kind of burst damage. They don't tend to tank up. Occasionally, you'll see a Crystal Maiden if she's super duper farmed or something like a BKB, but that's very, very rare. And you've got a very bursty team on the side of DK right now. Faceless Void, of course, once a Mask of Madness is up, able to beat down whoever he happens to catch, and in many cases, it might be those two are the primary targets. Obviously, trying to deal with the Brew before he splits is kind of a big deal in and of its own right, but you're going to have a fair amount of burst coming out of the Ogre Magi, Witch Doctor ulti, of course, and then the Invoker that comes out in the fourth pick. Invoker can just maul Skywrath Mage and Crystal Maiden no matter what build he goes. If he goes Exort, you just simply drop a Sunstrike after an initiation, even after a Fire Blast if it's well coordinated enough, or if you go Quaswex, suddenly Tornado EMP just completely takes Crystal Maiden and Skywrath Mage out of a fight.
Yeah, I think this is definitely an Exort game. Like, Clockwork's going to trap himself for a little bit if he goes on someone. The Forward Spirits are going to just have their way with these supports. It's a very squishy support, like you mentioned. And Cold Snap plus you know, whatever other spells and just right-clicks through Forward Spirits and yourself are enough to actually just take these supports out without doing anything extravagant. Witch Doctor and Ogre Magi are also really good supports against the CDEC supports because they have some pretty good stuns and just you can't really, you have to keep your distance against those supports, the Ogre Magi and the Witch Doctor. But Crystal Maiden, it's hard for her to keep her distance. It's not too bad for Skywrath, but CM is very slow and like kind of has to walk in the fray to really get at least 2 out of 3 of her spells off. And there, there it is. There's the Morphling by DK.
Surprise. Yep, Morphling makes his way in. And just to continue to build on the point, you know, something else, and with the Morphling, pick coming up last, it rounds the whole lineup out. These are some very survivable heroes, some heroes that have a lot of ways to get out of trouble and a lot of ways to just flat out tank through them. Witch Doctor with his heal can help himself and his team. Morphling can have obviously more strength. The Invoker with QQ Walk, and depending on how he builds, Invoker can start to feel kind of tough to bring down at times. But the Ogre Magi in particular with the Faceless Void with backtrack, and he can, he's just innately hard to bring down, tends to hang around the back of the fight and look for his chance to jump in. And Ogre Magi with one of the best strength gains in the entire game for a support that's an intelligence hero. So you're talking a team that's going to take a lot of work for CDEC to whittle down. They do round out their 5 with the Spectre, though, and it's going to be a long one. Hope you pack the lunch, because Spectre versus Morphling and the way that these, not just these teams, but most teams in the East play, we're probably going to be here for an hour.
Probably. Unless, it's kind of funny because Spectre is a late game carry, but I could see this game going fast if CDEC just tramples through, because I do feel like, and I use this word scarcely, but I do feel like DK's lineup is actually a little bit greedy in the sense that Invoker, Morphling, and Faceless Void all need a pretty darn good amount of farm. Especially Morphling and Faceless Void. I say Faceless Void this time because he's being played in the off lane, and I don't think he's going to get much against Crystal Maiden and Skywrath at all. Like that, even with Spectre in the lane as the main farmer, that support duo is very, very good against offlaners, assuming he is going off lane.
Yeah, I want to see how the lanes work out as well. I think DK is going to have a lot of options to make space for those heroes, though. Again, the Invoker's an instant +1 for at least 1 burst of damage, so long as it's coordinated well. And Void, he can just start to farm heroes after a while. He can get up a Mask of Madness and some treads or something, and then go out and make space for the other 2, and then whenever he has to regen, whenever his Chronosphere is on cooldown, fall back and farm then. And that's usually sufficient to keep him where he needs to be. And that's one reason he's so popular and why he fits into multi-core lineups so well, is he needs some, but he doesn't need all. On the other side, though, the Brewmaster can do kind of the same thing. Same with Clock. The Spectre, I think, is just going to be the hard farmer. She's going to get all the space and all the farm priority for CDEC. And that creates a situation where I feel like it's going to be the other 4 really engaging while Morphling split pushes and Spectre just sits as close to her tower as possible and tries to take farm for a long duration in the game. So the other 4 heroes, when you talk about a 4-on-4 matchup, which is what I think we're going to see a lot of in the mid-game, the Void, the Witch Doctor, the Ogre, and the Invoker, I actually like those heroes a lot more than I like CDEC's 4.
Yeah, I still think that this Void's going to get really shut down here in the offlane. Like, he already doesn't have the greatest block in the world because he is on offlane Radiant, or Radiant offlane. Looks like DK might even go aggressive here with the Morphling, because they're staying up here. I'm looking up here. They blocked the main pole camp. Void is walking bottom. Yeah, it's going to be an aggressive tri-lane. And they don't know exactly what they're going to do yet. And there's an Invis on the Ogre. So if there's a good block here in mid... Oh, no, CTY failed his block, unfortunately.
Yep, looks like he let a couple through. And XPG trying to help him out with the Invis. Hasn't taken a point yet. Maybe a tough target to bring down. First point into Exhort for the Invoker. And this doesn't really get the Void out of trouble, by the way, as he's still going to be up against at least 2 heroes, potentially 3, as Q is rotating in that general direction right now. And looks like, yep, Cold Snap is moving down there too. So it is going to be a 1-on-1. Morphling on Clock. Morph will love that. And it's going to be a defensive tri-lane on the Void.
Yep, they're making their way down there, and this is still fine. Like, putting a lot of damage into Black Sea. And then you get a 1v1 matchup, Clock versus Morphling. Clock, it's kind of a wash. Like, Clock's going to get... Whoa, that was a really weird cogs. I don't know if you saw that.
Nope.
Not even close to the hero. But trying to burn his mana at the very least, which is very effective against the Morphling. And actually...
Cask. Nope. Out on bottom. And... They actually, if he had actually thrown that Ignite onto the Spectre, they may have had an off chance of a dive for First Blood. But in mid, looks like there will be a dive as well. And we're going to have our First Blood tallied as maybe manages to bring down the Invoker. Well played by CDEC.
He's got something on the courier coming. Hopefully it's a bottle. Yep, it's a bottle. Maybe he should have bought a health potion as well. But nonetheless, fantastic start here for CDEC. And unfortunately, they have no right to farm in this bottom lane now because this is triple Archer. Triple range creep coming out. So he'll stay here for this wave, and I imagine Spectre just leaves, books it, so goes somewhere, maybe camps the bottom rune and then transitions up to top, but he can't get, or I should say she can't get any farm down here anymore. And that's that's very concerning.
2 waves. Yeah, look at this. Look at top. Dreamy U, same thing. It's shoved up under his tower. The Clock obviously can play a little in his face. But you've got a lot of lane equilibrium going the way of DK in both lanes, and then mid was the First Blood, obviously. Bounty will be picked up by the Spectre, so getting at least something. But yeah, maybe's already level 3. The Invoker's actually right on par in terms of levels, so not missing out that much, but still a very nice start for our Brewmaster.
Here's a gank attempt here on mid, though. Spectre's coming as well. There's no Wex, so there's not going to be any kind of Ghostwalk shenanigans. Early TP coming in. I don't think they get this kill. He's pretty tanky.
Yep, maybe's deep, but he can afford it. He's got a regen rune, too. Nice body block attempt from XBG. Still needs 5 seconds on his Fire Blast. Took a lot of damage here at the end. There's going to be a cast. Sunstrike hits him, and they get him. One last right click from the two-headed monster, and he takes a spill, make it 1-1.
Yep, and the Spectre's rotated top, but Morphling's already got 7 CS, and they're going to have to trade this around. And yeah, I'm still wondering why they didn't just go defensive tri-lane. I don't think that a defensive tri-lane of Spectre, CM, Skywrath Mage is really that bad, even against this kind of aggression. I think they could still do fine. They could do some pulls, check the runes. They're in their safe lane, so obviously it's safe, at least a little bit more safe. So I think they sort of just put their Spectre in the safe lane and tried to fight any kind of aggression coming their way.
Taking a look at CS elsewhere on the map, guess who is left completely alone right now? This Void has been alone for a while, and the hero you were worried about not getting a lot just because of all the lane switches is suddenly atop the CS chart, and he's coming up on level 4.5. He's about a half level ahead of the Clockwork, who will rotate down. And Void being melee will have a little bit more trouble than the Morphling, but for the most part should be able to farm very, very consistent.
Yep, and CTY is on a mid hero I think he's very comfortable with, and he's doing quite well. Despite that gank and lots of pressure, he's leading in CS quite considerably with 16 over the Panda, who has it at 11. And I think that DK are in a fantastic spot right now. Just run.
Attempt to top.
Yeah, just run this Void as a 1. Like there's no one in this lane.
I totally agree with you. Like he is still unoccupied. No one is farming near him. And it looks like DK opting not to take a run. Spectre got very close there, almost popped the smoke. And they're going to head back towards mid instead. We got CTY drifting over. They do have a ward down, so they have vision of Q. And maybe's playing quite far forward. He's not 6 yet. This would be a great gank if they can get it, but it's going to be spotted. Maybe runs as far back towards uphill as he can. There's a Fire Blast, and they get him with the Sunstrike. Maybe's taking a lot of damage, but he's so tanky. Cold Snap may end up dead at the end of it. Using that heal, is it enough? XBG, no! Clockwork coming in from the side. Makes it a 1-for-1. Still favorable, but they may get CTY. Being chased up to the high ground. Battery Assault doing good damage. Here comes another TPN. And they will not get him. Cold Snap TP'd in and just got that heal. Wonderfully played, coming in the nick of time to save his boy. We're tied up 2-2.
So damn close. Really nice TP in there. And it actually didn't proc the delayed TP that I thought it would, just because they already had TP in there. But very clutch TP and nice play. And good exchange, because look at Void is still just free farming. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Midas and with his casual glove of face either.
Yeah, he may as well. I mean, Midas, Midas is good on pretty much anyone, but there's some heroes it's especially good on, and those are the heroes that are based on attack speed. Any crit, hang on. We're going to have the engagement. A top Spectre caught from behind. Needs a good bounce from the cast. No, he doesn't need it, actually. They just have, and this is what I was talking about. We just saw in mid how tanky these heroes are in general, how hard they are to bring down, especially when they're near each other and can help each other. And right there, we're beginning to see that damage output really begin to show itself. And these squishy supports, the Crystal Maiden, the Skywrath, are going to stand no chance. And the Spectre, actually. I mean, once she hits 6, Haunt's going to be something they have to cope with, but she's still going to have some trouble, too.
I think the next step here for CDEC is to guarantee a good start for your Panda, because you're not going to get it on the Spectre. He's under too much pressure. The supports are roaming around. They have extra gold on the side of DK, more so than CDEC does. So Spectre is probably not going to get the good farm in the early game. That's to be expected at this point. So make sure the more important hero, which is your initiator, gets some good farm, and that's the Panda. And I think they need to focus on that lane. Just make sure, just work around his ultimate. He's got it up right now. They're sitting top. Pink maybe wants to do something, but I don't... Oh god, he's in a really scary spot.
Yep, just got spotted. Cask is going to be thrown. It's going to bounce the creeps. That has a good chance of bouncing back, and it does. That bought just enough time for them to pursue. Still probably would have caught her anyway. Brown Boots, Crystal Maiden, not the fastest hero on the map. But still nice to have a little luck from the Cask. 4-2, DK now doubling them up. And look at this wave that's coming now, as this is going to push right back into the face of Dreamy U, and he's going to happily farm. And My goodness. Black Z, 40 CS at 70 minutes in, even has 22 denies out of sheer boredom. And has been left completely alone. Like, that's an entire lane that no one from CDEC is getting any experience in. Now they're going to engage on the Spectre again, and look at the waveform.
Oh.
Max, oh, got her. What a shot. Anticipated the path, and that's going to make it 5-2, and 2 deaths on their Spectre in the first 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, this is a disaster. I don't know why they didn't just do the defensive tri lane. I think it would have been way better. They try to get fancy by doing some kind of dodge stuff, but they can't afford to dodge, because if DK responds, which they did, they're just going to have to re-dodge, go back. But you can't afford to have your Spectre move around, because that's your only real core. Like, Panda's a core in the sense that he's tanky, but he doesn't offer as much in the late game as the other members of DK does. Like, they basically have 3 very strong cores in the late game. CDEC is banking on 1.
Oh, he threw the cast very early. There's going to be a fire blast. They might still try to engage. He's trying to split, but he can't because of the cold snap. There, he got it. Very close call, but he does expend his first split. Cold snap, healing himself. There's the air aspect, tossing Invoker into the air behind that. He's got all 3 dedicated to killing the Witch Doctor. And now XBG likely next on the list. CTY, relatively unscathed. He's very deep here, though. And yeah, I was going to say, he's going to come out with not a lot of health. Hung around perhaps a bit too much. Got the Ignite off. There's CTY chasing him out. So he's going to exchange himself for 2 support kills. I don't know that that's okay. I don't think that's really worth it, because that's an Invoker getting that kill, but at top they might get the Morphling. In fact, speaking of, Morphling just killed a Skywrath by himself.
Yep, not good. And the same thing is going on bottom, which is the free farming Void. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, they're fighting around Panda Split, which I guess is good, but he died, not getting enough out of it. Midas up on the Invoker as well, and I'm guessing Void has it too. Yep. Got his own Midas on top of Treads in just a second. And yeah, I'm really scared if I'm CDEC, because it's gonna take way too long for Spectre. Oh my God, Spectre doesn't even have phase boots, man.
No, she's died twice, and basically has been zoned off a farm and running pure defense for poor squishy supports forever. And we knew this was going to be an issue coming in. It's just unfortunate for CDEC they haven't managed it well, and I think you're dead on the money. With your insight into, lane switching, it's very easy to be like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just do this, and then if it doesn't work out, we can switch it up. That's a lot of wasted time, and that little bit of difference against a team like this that is so effective at dealing damage and feels tanky and survivable, that means they can skirmish you just about anywhere on the map, and you're going to have a hard time ever coming out ahead. The Void actually died bottom. I was watching Migs. It looked like the Brew was going to die, but looks like they finally do bring down the Grape Crusader.
Yep, good start for them, but they're going to need a lot more than that. It would be fine if they did that if this Clock was like a different hero. Was like a much harder carry. Something like a Doom, or like a Weaver. Something that could also carry the weight alongside Spectre if Spectre isn't getting much. But Clock is an initiator and not that great, and I don't know, it doesn't fit right. Oh no, the cast couldn't make it in time as Spectre gets the TP out. Does have Haunt ready to go at the very least. And they might dive the Void again. There's 4 members down here, effectively 5 with Haunt available.
Yep, he's going to duck out. Now, they all know. Let's see if there's any response. He may just chrono. Oh, wow, good jump. Now here comes the response. There's going to be the Haunt, but the chrono goes down. That got 2 of them. He's trying to tee off as best he can. Behind that, though, we see Cold Snap. Got a cask off that's buying time. Here comes CTY. CTY has to have an impact, but his mana pool's not very high. Down goes the Cogs, and in goes the Mystic Flare. And this is... Oh, they almost got the Spectre again. Tower's going to get him. So Spectre dies amidst all of it. Behind that, we see Brew did split. XBG's next on the list. That's in a lot of trouble. That's going to be 4 now. 4 for 1. Very unfortunate. They couldn't keep their Spectre alive. But still a very successful dive by any stretch. And Dreamy U knows he's one-on-one with this Clockwork. He's just going to solo kill him. Yeah. Oh, Cogs actually not get back. Wow. He has the more strength to secure himself a place back under his own tower. Down at bottom in the meantime, CDEC continuing to bang away on this tier 1. Here comes a TPN that's going to be that's going to be XBG. Gets a fire blast off on the Q. Concussive shot slows him down. In comes the Void, though. He's going to be able to jump right on the Q. And they do get a kill there. And didn't even see where that was shot. I think it was shot at the Brewmaster. Or no, did he shoot it top?
No, it was in the secret shop. He thought Brew was going to the right.
Ah.
Yeah, Dreamy, you really missed an opportunity right there. Definitely think he should have got that Clock. He needed to stay walk on top of him so that he can't get mana burned. That was the only instance that he could have not got that kill, and that's what happened. Very least, they TP'd bottom, got a kill for the Void. Actually, Ogre got it. And the tower did get denied, so I mean, they still have the Midas factor, and they still have more cores. So despite some good team fights there coming out from CDEC, I still think that DK's in a really good position.
In this game, I really like XBG's build. We've seen a lot of variations on the Ogre build, but maxing his Fire Blast, but also getting a level 5 value point in the Bloodlust for the Faceless Void, I think that's such a good call.
Yep, I feel like more people I've seen max the Ignite.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the Fire Blast, but there's some nerf or that happened to Fire Blasts, and I don't remember what it was, which is the reason why they've been maxing it. I'd have to go and do my research, but Black Z. There's a smoke gank here. The Panda has split in 20, so...
Oh, he just popped it. They know. Yep, they ping it out immediately. And Black Z gonna biff it again. Well executed that time. Very good reaction as soon as they saw their smoke pop. But just to finish the point on the Ogre's build, I like this so much because of all the reasons we've been talking about. Just how squishy the 3 heroes in particular, Skywrath, Crystal Maiden, and to a certain extent the Spectre, are feeling. And so having not just the stun there to do, you know, you can burst them as opposed to burn them down, which is what Ignite gives you.
Yep, and the supports are sitting behind mid, looking for a kill. These supports do a lot of damage, even with Crystal Maiden having this max Arcane Aura. Is your portrait on CM bugged? Because all I see is her chest.
Yeah, it is. All right. Valve knows what gamers want. That is actually kind of funny.
Perverted.
Oh, well. I remember when that happened with Windrunner a while. It was always like there was one particular set or something that it always just put it right on her chest. But at 14 minutes in, looks like CDEC will abandon the early aggression. I thought they were going to hang out behind the Tier 1 for a while, try to get a kill on CTY. We can see they did put a dent into the gold and the experience, but it is slowly climbing back in favor of DK again.
Yep, that's Midas gaming for you, as my net worth thing is bugged. Okay, but yep, top lane, Dreamy U is still farming. Hasn't died yet, 3-0-1. Missed a kill, unfortunately, but Spectre's getting nothing. And the good thing about this is, let's see a fight.
Oh, that's going to be a good cast. And in comes Black Z. Does manage to get off the Chrono. Spectre's going to come in and go on Cold Snap. There's a Bruce split. In the meantime, 2 are already down. They're going to finish off the Witch Doctor, but now that Spectre needs to get out of here. Dreamy, you kind of hemmed up a little bit. There's a Cogs that trap in Black Z, but now the Pandas can't get to him. They can only do so much damage. He will end up dead to a rock. No, never mind. Able to time walk at the last minute. And the Rocket a little bit behind as well. He had a DD, so he was able to bring those supports down in very short order. Now here comes CTY. Thought he might try to re-engage, but looks like they're not liking it. It's a 2-for-2 exchange, and we can see it's actually basically a break-even on both sides.
Yep, support. 2 supports for 2 supports, I think. That's what happened, and CTY wasn't there. He was farming and pushing mid, so slight win, I think, for DK. Also, any kind of even exchange is going to benefit DK just because they have more cores. Unless, like, Spectre gets every single one of the kills in the fight. And even then, I don't even know if that's good. Because, and it's interesting that CDEC last pick Spectre against this, but the point that you were talking about is that everyone's tanky on DK.
Yep.
So the Haunt's not going to be nearly as effective as, like say DK had the supports of CDEC, which, like, a Skywrath and a CM. I'd be more than happy to have even just a 30-minute Radiance on my Spectre, just because those supports would get owned. But Witch Doctor with the heal and Ogre having, 1,000 HP. Oh, CTY hooked.
Yep, he's got XPG behind it. Let's see if it's going to be enough. The ulti went down from the Witch Doctor, and that's an unfortunate place to find yourself. It's still doing work. We're going to see CTY cleaned up by a Mystic Flare, but Q took a lot of damage. Cold Snap probably did about, 1,200 points of damage across 2 heroes there. And maybe replicated. Ends up being a 1-for-1. I actually think that one definitely does favor CDEC, though. Losing your clock in exchange for CTY is a big deal.
Yep. Still nice that they're having, their carry Void farming. He's got Mask of Madness with his Midas. Top lane, Dreamy U, putting some pressure onto the Spectre. Don't think he can kill him, but just making sure he can't just free farm his way back into this game. And in fact, it's a 13-12 kill lead. Haunt coming out for bottom.
And they do kill the Void again. I was actually just watching Spectre's inventory. I like this urn pickup a lot.
Yeah,
it helps her with her strength, makes her more survivable, gives her a little bit more sustain just to stay out on the map some if after she takes damage. And it's a fighting kind of an item. It's an item you grab if you expect to be involved a lot earlier than you would want to normally.
Well, it's just perfect because Spectre always is going to get some kind of assist in proximity of the kill. which means you're always going to get earned charges. So it just works out really nicely. Top lane, Crystal Maiden. Try to fog him. Fast TPs. This ogre is probably dead.
Yep, clock got him. Tried to get something done, but dead skis. There's a casket that goes out, and still, hey, if he makes him waste the split, oh, Dreamy U's still caught there. I didn't even see that he was caught in the midst of all of it. He can replicate. No, he can make a replicate in 1 second. He can waveform out. He's got a TP right this second. Ooh, the hook missed. Oh, that's a big missed up opportunity for 3-3-3. It's a nice attempt. He had to shoot a blind, but missed him by a hair.
Yep, unfortunate for him, and CTY is farming mid. Void's back bottom. He can get a solo kill on the Skywrath if he saw him. He's actually trying to get the extra movement speed through. Oh, he misses it just a little bit. Still trying to search, still trying to search. He needs to just cast it right away. There he goes.
Oh, got him. Sunstrike, on the money. Easy kill.
You know what's interesting is that changed to Void with the time walk. Oh, wait. CTY Ghost Walk. He's going to be okay. Actually gets out of the range of a Sentry Ward, too. Oh, the clap comes out. Almost gets him down, but he will be fine. That interesting change with the... Oh my God! 9 HP.
They can't kill the man. Call him, what was the name of the, that Russian guy that, like, they beat and tortured to death like 75 times he wouldn't die? Rasputin? Was that it?
I don't know.
Somebody does. Tweet at me. Let me know. I'm sure there's some.
What about Bruce Willis from Unbreakable?
There you go. All right, we're going to have Dreamy U caught again at top, maybe. Doesn't have split. Replicate is out. He's trying to run it in a different direction. Morphing all that strength. He may have time. He's going to waveform away, and actually, there's the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor's going to be careful. They're going to follow it up. He could have replicated up and felt scared of it. Maybe still doesn't have split. There's another Death Ward, and I'll tell you, this Witch Doctor's dropped more Death Wards in the first 19 minutes, and I see most Witch Doctors drop all game. And what happened there? Oh, the Sunstrike going to be shot to the north. He doesn't have a TP, though. They're going to have to know that. Behind that, we actually hear the hook come in, and 3-3-3 trying to bail him out. 2 are down in exchange for the brew right now. XBG trying to lose him and get the battery salt to expire. Spectre's still hidden, and yeah, they're going to get him too. So right now, CDEC is out fighting DK, even though it seems like by all other accounts they should be falling behind. In the meantime, CTY did get a tower bottom, is pushing through to tier 2. But yeah, CDEC is reacting very
Crystal
well.
Maiden, you're probably dead. Nice, easy peasy, standard kill by the Invoker. He actually gets a TP out. It's probably going to work because there's no hook. And even if there was, it's a delayed TP. So CTY is like, all right, enough of this crap. They're just 5-man Dotoing. I'm just going to spread the map and do my rat Dota thing. And as a result, he's actually got the top net worth in the game.
Void going BKB. Love this choice against these heroes. And that poor Spectre still saving up for a Relic. Not Radiance, mind you. Relic. Waiting on the Relic still yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not that bad, actually, all things considered. Like, he just hasn't had time. Every single time he pops up in lane, he gets forced out by, like, Morphling auto attacks and a waveform.
Now, speaking of waveform, the Morphling farming well, almost on pace with the Void, who was given like 10, 12 unmitigated minutes of free farm. And the top 3 overall in last hits are all on the side of DK. Net worth, big shock, same 3 right at the top.
CTY coming in to finally meet his team for once this game. They do have good vision. It's actually about to fade, but there's a smoke on here, so they're not going to see this.
And there they go. XBG spotted him out just in time. And there's going to be a Chrono. Only got 1. They got 3-3-3. There's a multicast on the Maybe, though. Maybe will be able to split. Death Ward has gone down, but Spectre's going to work. Still taking a lot of damage from it. And that heal is there. And the Mystic Flare finally enough to force him off of it. There's a great ulti from Q as he zones out the remainder of DK. The Brew did end up dying amidst all of the chaos. Now Dreamy U is silenced out. They're going to be able to bring him down, but now CTY is going to try to follow it up. Nice cogs from 3-3-3, bounce him back. Sunstrike shot a little optimistically there, was a little ahead of where the Crystal Maiden was actually going to be. But another 1 fight for CDEC. They lose 3, or they take 3, and they only lose 1.
Yeah, just quite simply, not the best placement of the Void ulti. Like, he's getting a little jumpy. He has BKB soon, which is going to be really good because he's scared of, like, a silence coming out before he ultis, which is actually, to be fair, way worse than just not casting the ulti at all. But once he gets his BKB, he doesn't have to worry about that. I think it's actually going to be a lot easier for him to place these ultis once he does get his BKB. There's the Spectre. They fog him because it's nighttime. Double TP coming through.
XBG could have had that. I think he was surprised that he got force stabbed. And they may get him. There's 3 here. See, they need to just go. Yeah, CTY needs to get out. Because XBG is dead skis for sure. But yeah, there was definitely a minute or two. Well, minute or two is an exaggeration. There was definitely about, I don't know, half a second to 3/4 of a second when he just took steps forward instead of casting his Fire Blast. And if he had insta-casted it, he wouldn't have gotten fogged. So missed opportunity, and they give up another one.
Yep, it is nighttime, so sometimes around tree lines it's easy to get fogged and whatnot. But yeah, unfortunate there. CTY still on top of net worth. Actually, all 3 of their cores are still sitting at a nice net worth lead. Yeah, that's a Vanguard for Clock. I'd guess Crimson Guard. It's not that bad, honestly. I think it works against... Wait, does it work against the Witch Doctor ulti?
Poor CTY. CTY was trying to be cute, and guess where he was standing? Literally right on top of a ward. Like, was standing, like, right there. And they collapse as a team and get the kill.
I gotta read this about the Crimson Guard, because if it works against Death Ward, it's like the best pickup ever. Let's see, it blocks 100% chance to block 50 damage from each incoming attack for 9 seconds. That would like mitigate almost all the damage completely.
Yep.
That's really awesome.
I think that's how it works as well. Hang on. There's going to be the Chrono. They're going to work on maybe, and no Crimson Guard this time. Is it going to be enough? Yeah, there's a Fire Blast. Good kill on the Brew. And more importantly, the Void gets it. He's going to clean up these creeps. I think he's got a Mithril Hammer on the Courier. Yeah, he does. So, another 100 or 200 gold, and he will have that BKB, and then, like you said, he can play YOLO mode a little bit more.
Yep, and I think Ags is really good for him this game. As Dreamy U spots out a clock, but a preemptive Blade Mail. Not going to happen now.
Just swiping through, and now there's going to be a Haunt in, but Dreamy U can outhill the Mystic Flare. They're going to try to turn it around. 333 is quite low. And they want to catch him. He finds a double damage room. Behind that, the Spectre still going to work on Cold Snap. Throws out another cast, but didn't get any bounces from it. 333, and the Spectre giving pursuit to XBG. There's going to be, yeah, Void just comes in YOLO style. And there was nothing he was going to be able to do to begin with. Either way, another fairly solid exchange for CDEC.
They're just outplaying him in these team fights.
For sure.
And I don't know. I feel like DK should have a very easy game. There's a Radiance. That's actually a very good timing. 24 minutes is really not that bad. And if anything, I would call it standard because most of the time you get like drums beforehand anyway. But yeah, it's going to be good. Like I said, the DK is not that squishy, but I mean, if they're winning these fights without Radiance, they're definitely going to win them with Radiance.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of weird mistakes. For example, Clock there dropped his cogs, right? He was trapped. And then he got caught inside, got hit by a Sunstrike. But then the Morphling, who was over here, waveformed across. And, you know, to right here. And like here were the cogs. And the problem was the rest of the team was collapsing here. So he basically just fed to do waveform damage. Like he's just putting himself in a very odd situation when he's dark here. But he knew that up here is where his team was coming from.
Yeah, the Skywrath did a lot of damage too with that ultimate. Yep. And you actually really need to BKB now. The Morphling, I think he should just go straight BKB now. They have plenty of damage. I think they just need to not die from the Panda Split and the initial Haunt Burst.
I want to watch his item and see. So I agree with you. Like, I'm kind of shocked DK finds himself in this position. They, from what we've seen of them, even though their record is far from spotless, they generally, in situations like this, when they can play aggressive and just take command of a mid-game, that's when they usually succeed the most. And, well, in fairness, CDEC has been playing like hell. Like, just absolute amazing Dota. And from what we've seen, so they're not exactly bad at this stage of the game either. But the goal graph is still heading in favor of DK. And that's something CDEC's just going to have to cope with. They do have a Midas. They have 2 Midas, as a matter of fact. And at some point, you would have to imagine DK is just going to be calm and stop making these mistakes.
I still feel like no matter what, there's always potential for CDEC to completely lose a fight by getting caught out with a Spectre or with a Void ulti. Like if you catch out the Spectre, for instance, with a Void ulti, use everything on him, I don't know if CDEC actually has that much to bounce back. Same thing if you catch out the Panda with a Void ulti. I don't know how effective a Spectre ulti is going to be without a Panda in the mix. So I feel like there's always that in the back of, like in their cards and their arsenal of things to do. Right. So I'm still always leaning on the side of DK because they have a Tricore with a Void who can kill anyone. but they just haven't done it yet. Their coordination's been off.
Well, they're going to try to do it now. That BKB done on Black Sea. Got about a third time left on their smoke. And they're going to have to choose. It's going to be maybe. And there's a Sunstrike to help. And the Death Ward. Behind that, though, we do see the Cogs go down. That catches two. Doing what they can. There's a nice Mystic Clear that cleans up Cold Snap. Behind that, Garter doing work on XBG along with the Spectre Haunt. Spectre Illusion, I guess. Ghost, whatever you want to call it. And the Void will be able to make it out. But the Brewmaster, did he buy back? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to say surely he didn't survive. Thanks, my eyes went elsewhere. He's going to use the split, and they're going to secure the kill on Black Sea. They may get CTY as well. Good microing of the Pandas to not, do they have any detection at all? Nope. And Dreamy U's back into this. He's trying to go toe-to-toe. This is a bad situation for him to be in. He does waveform away. Actually runs into the Cogs. He has almost no mana left. And maybe, looked like he was thinking about it, but thought better of it. Once again, outplayed.
This Ogre's going to die. He's standing right on top of a ward. Oh, here comes the Sunstrike. It doesn't kill this Crystal Maiden. So close to, but like I know CTY wants to like maximize his farm and spread the map, but he needs to show up to these fights, man. Like, he is never in them. And I mean, you can combo your spells very nicely with like a. He's got full Exort, so a Meteor on top of a Chronosphere is going to kill anyone almost. And I mean, he's contributing to Sunstrike, which is nice and all, but he's got so many more spells to be offering. I think it's time to stop farming and to be a part of these team fights, to be honest.
I know, I completely agree, man. And well, at this point, he may as well finish his Hex. He's very close to that. He's got enough of the Mystic Staff, and then about 200-300 towards the Void Stone. And once that's done, he'll be in good shape. And we're going to have a Solo Sphere onto Garter, who will be solo killed by Black Sea. And maybe just sitting on the other side, just beating on creeps like, yeah, man, I got none for you. Sorry.
Well, he got a unstoppable streak from the Skywrath, so that's good. No ulti yet from the Panda, so he should be able to just BKB if he wants to, but that's a BK charge. Yeah, he's gonna have to use it.
Yep, has to. Hook's there, though. And there's gonna be the Haunt in. They're gonna pursue him. His tier 1 is still standing. That courier's, yeah, I was gonna say they get that out of the way, but Cog's a little optimistic, but had to take a shot. There's gonna be a big response coming, though. He already expended the Chrono, so he won't have that. It looks like they just want to try to defend here. And let's see if they're able to do so. The Morphling's in mid, and yeah, they're going to TP one back to try to account for him.
Yep.
But all things considered, still a solo kill, and like you said, it's an unstoppable streak for 557 gold.
I think they actually maybe could have killed him. Like, he had just used his Time Walk, and then the hook came in, but he chose not to Cogs him in. And I know he was BKB'd, but I think that Spectre could have done a decent amount of auto attack damage because he can just walk through the Cogs with the Spectral Dagger on him. Because he has no unit collision.
Can you target Spectral Dagger on a BKB target?
No, but he already had, like, you can just throw it down just so he could so he could walk through the Cogs to get some auto attacks on. Like, that was like, what's the cooldown on Time Walk? I think 10 seconds? 13, okay. So that's I think that's a good amount of time to pump some damage into him, but he chose not to.
Everyone's sitting back to farm for a bit. In terms of net worth, guess who's caught up? Spectre. Now the most farmed hero on the side of CDEC, and within about 2.5K of the highest farmed hero on the map, which is the Morphling. They're going to go, and this is what I think DK needs to be doing. Like, this is where their bread and butter is. And this is what I was saying, 4-on-4 for the most part. The Spectre, though, is kind of an X factor because she can haunt in, and at this point she's doing sufficient enough damage that you should count her as a +1. Maybe and Garter are hanging out. They're going to end up running into a whole team. They do have Dreamy U on the other side, though. And they're going to run right into Clockwork. Yep, there he is. And Blade Mail and Cogs go down. Behind that, the fight did not join, surprisingly. Now here comes Maybe going with an immediate Brewmaster split. All three Pandas got caught in the Chrono. Can they blow up this Clockwork? No, they can't. BKB was used. Now they're going to turn it around. They're worried about Cold Snap. They're going to be able to track him down easily from behind. Elsewhere, we can see Clockwork is still up and running. And they run into the Cogs 3 times. Finally, one auto attack will do it. There's going to be an ulti, though, from Q. However, the Fire Blast was on command. Now, the Spectre coming in to help clean things up. Black Sea doesn't have enough mana to get away. That's going to be 4 down. And Morphling off farming. They went 4-on-5 there. And with the results you would pretty much expect.
All right, they're just totally outplaying him, honestly. I think DK really threw this away. They got way too complacent. and didn't expect Spectre to really come online, and he is doing so much in these fights. This Invoker is doing absolutely nothing. Like, he's getting caught out. Probably should have bought a BKB before this Hex, because he got a Hex off, but he just died immediately to a Skywrath. Skywrath and one hit from the Spectre, who reality'd right onto him. So, I don't know. This Invoker did really well in the early stages of the game, farmed well, got a couple of global Sunstrikes, but is not contributing really anything to these fights.
No, I agree with you. Like, he's been there to clean up a couple of kills, but other than that, not a lot. Spectre, now with a fresh Aegis, can farm with it, can go headhunting with it if she wants. It's picked up the casual Yasha, and also has a Vid booster just to tank up some. And CTY seems like he just wants to continue farming. Like, he's got his Hex, and like you said, I don't think I can add a whole lot to it. He's just had his participation rate. He's like a juvenile delinquent. His participation rate does not merit advancement into the next grade.
There you go. By the way, was that the Yasha? Was that a Bill Burr reference?
Kinda. Kinda.
I don't know if you ever listened to his podcast, but he always does that. Like, I went to Boston.
Yep, exactly. I didn't really think about it. Yeah, I've been doing it ever since I went and saw him, though. Like, every now and then. He was really good live.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, for real. I'll tell you what, he looks old as hell now, though.
Really?
Like, surprisingly. I think it's because he, like, shaved his head. He, like, came out in, like, old man jeans and a sweater. And it just, like, he did not look like the young Bostonian upstart that he is.
Well, on TV, they make you look nice and pretty, too.
For sure. Don't do it in esports. Still, that's why it's amazing to have a job. 20-32. DK has all but thrown away their lead. Actually, yeah, it is officially thrown away. $322. As they, by the way, I normally hate Twitch spam. The big bold separated $322 typed out. Like, I don't know why, but that tickles me, and I enjoyed it a lot.
$322. And Manta, I think, is coming out. Yeah, I like the decision to go for Manta over Heart. I see a lot of Spectres just go Radiance Heart, but you get so much more damage and utility out of the Manta. Because your illusions not only obviously get the Radiance, but they get the Desolate, which is huge when you isolate a hero. And you just get more utility out of it too, like breaking out of a stun, breaking out of a slow, things like that. Using it to your advantage to confuse the opponent.
Well, I mean, right now, survivability was her issue earlier. No longer is that the case. She is surviving just fine. And for that reason alone, I like it. I mean, at this point, build to your strengths. You've shown that you can go toe-to-toe either through the fact that you've caught up so much, or more what has often been the case, you're just outplaying them. So don't back off of that. Don't go conservative. Don't play not to lose. Play to win. And it looks like we're hitting... Well, hang on. Sphere. Yes. Got the cogs down. He can't get out. Yes. Wow.
What's going on here?
He sphered. And I can't... it looks like he was trying to bang a creep, I think. And then he got confused. Then he panicked and he BKB'd and teleported away.
I don't know what happened, but I think I know what happened. Is that the Haunt came in and the Spectre illusion was like right onto him. And I think he like couldn't click on him because the illusion was in the way. But I guess a Haunt for a Chronosphere, somewhat even. Jimmy U's up top. He has a replicate up, so unless he gets silenced quickly, they are smoked. They have to be fast with this. It needs to be Spectre in front. It needs to be Spectre, or not Spectre, but it needs to be, yeah, it needs to be Skywrath in front. I don't know why it's Spectre, but that was just silly.
I agree. And the thing is, there are 2 Force Staffs up. What I think should have happened, if they had vision, is they should have Force Staffed the Crystal Maiden here and let her pop his Lincolns with the with Frostbite, and then immediately silence. I think that would have been the way you had to do
it. You could also just... Skywrath could force himself, use Arcane Bolt, and instantly use his Ancient Seal at the same time.
Yeah, good point.
But either way, they messed it up and did it the worst way.
Yeah, either way they failed, is what we're getting at. They are not going to give up, though. Looks like they want to go ahead and crash this top tier 2 tower. And I love this ward spot. This is such a valuable ward. It's like generally like this whenever you have all the tier 2 still standing, because this basically gives value to the mid and the top tier 2 push.
Now CDEC is pushing it to DK, Manta popped. He does have Aegis and a buyback, so essentially 3 lives. With Haunt. Really, really good. Oh, I hear action actually onto, oh god, CTY.
Super dead.
Dead again. Has buyback, but what is it really going to do? I don't see him doing anything in fights. As Panda split.
Clockwork. Yep, he split a while ago. And they're just going to catch XBG. Air Aspect tosses the Void into the air. XBG is going to go down. In the meantime, BKB did get finished on Cold Snap, so he is channeling this fully. But only so much value going to come out of it. They didn't push at all on the mid-tier 2, which is kind of surprising. But doesn't matter as they get 2 more high-profile kills, and CTY is having a rough one.
To say the least.
3 and 6 on an Invoker.
I mean, he just didn't show up for anything.
Yep.
He was just using Sunstrikes, which is good, and trying to split the map, but if he was going to do that, why didn't he go for a Necro? Like, why did he go for this build instead of just dodging all... Like, that's normally what you do, right? With the next Sort Invoker, you just go for the Necro 3, split push, you have it around a decent time, and because he was doing so well, he probably would have had it around, like, 18, 17 minutes, which is a very good timing. And you can really put a lot of pressure. And Necro 3 is not bad here either, because it would, he would have had it at a time where maybe he's... Actually, maybe he only has like 500 mana right now. So it would have been good even now if he had it, so he couldn't cast his ult. Yep.
Spectre is going pure damage build, by the way. Diffusal picked up. I love it. Not going to back off. And she actually did overtake the Morphling briefly in terms of farm, which tells you just how completely reversed this has gotten. Soon enough, if this continues, they're going to take the lead for the first time in about 40 minutes. Basically, they led the game briefly in the first, like, 2 or 3 minutes, and since then it was all DK, but they have cut down the largest lead of the game, which was around 6,000, all the way down to 0.
There's a big item pickup by the Morphling. I was just thinking to myself, and I feel like DK can't do anything without BKB. And then he picks up a BKB, but Void is acting more of an initiator and can't really sustain in fights after the Chrono, so his BKB almost feels a little bit kind of useless and futile. Yeah. But the BKB on Morphling, I think, is very important. So interested to see if this can kind of turn things for DK, but Spectre is getting huge at a very alarming rate.
Yep, has overtaken the Morphling again. And Black Z is doing what he can. Needs to use his minus. There you go, buddy. But they smoked and found absolutely nothing whatsoever. Maybe a smoke coming out here, as CDEC is going to move his 4. And this is where the innate strength of a Spectre comes. Like, I was so worried about how CDEC was going to deal with DK's lineup for the first 20, 30 minutes. But they did. They dealt with it just fine. And now they're pretty built. They're pretty tanky and pretty survivable. And the Spectre is big enough that when she haunts in, it's going to be an instant kill, if not 2, if it's any kind of a decent initiation. Waveform, Dreamy U, gets back under his tower. And looks like another failed gank.
Yeah, the Flock unfortunately second-guessed himself with the hook. Wasn't expecting Morphling to be up there that one time, but when you're smoking like that, you want your initiator that's actually going to go on someone in front, so hopefully it couldn't be Skywrath in the future, but I was going to say, oh, I'm sad to see that the clock didn't finish the Crimson Guard, because I'm pretty sure it's completely nullifies this Witch Doctor ulti. At least, well, takes off a big chunk of damage from it.
Maybe is tucked up under the trees and is thinking of trying to start a fight. Away is Spectre. She's hidden because you've got all these heroes in the jungle that have not shown their face. And yep, he's actually just going to TP away and not even going to try to take a chance, knowing there could be a whole team behind him, and sure enough there was.
Yep, he's got a Ghost Scepter as well, so if he's able to pop that before the Void comes in, Void can't really do anything. And yeah, kind of a stalemate passive game so far, but still looking at the net worth though, the 3 cores on DK are still very farmed. Like after Spectre, it does significantly fall off, but hey, I guess if Spectre can 1v5 these fights with a nice Panda ulti and a Skywrath ulti, then they'll be fine.
I don't feel like we've actually seen DK fight at full strength yet. You know, like what have we seen out of CTY of value at all for a full Exort build?
Like nothing.
Yeah. Have you seen him drop the rock? We've seen some Sunstrikes. We've seen, has he used his Hex once?
Yeah, he's used it, but all defensively, like right before he dies.
Right.
Just cast Ghost Walk. I wonder if that was a misclick.
Invisibility.
Or no, he got hit by something. like a Spectral
No,
Dagger.
he invoked it just to cast it.
Huh, well, he does have BKB himself, and I've said how important those are this game, but again, I still feel like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking they still have the potential to completely win a team fight just through a Chrono ulti.
Yep.
Just through a good Chrono ulti, but the positioning and just like roaming around the map has just been deliberate from CDEC, and they know what they want to do, and it's much more effective than what DK, just kind of roaming around but not really finding anything, farming because they can't find anything, and then they get picked off while they're farming.
Well, thus far, both teams have managed to dodge each other sufficiently. It has to be a growing concern. Spectre may be big, but Morphling is getting mighty large as well. And with that Ethereal Blade up, probably a Butterfly coming next, one would imagine. With that coming up soon, he's going to be able to just wipe a Skywrath Mage out of a fight. And maybe he's pretty tanky. He's at 1900 HP. But if they focus enough attention on him, they can blow him off the map as well. And that's disregarding the Chrono, like you were saying. They're going to go into Roshan. And looks like DK is not going to be anywhere near in position to try to deal with it. And Spectre's got a free slot. We'll see if she wants to take it, or maybe they put it on maybe.
Probably the Spectre. Spectre with the Aegis is one of the best Aegis holders in the game. But yeah, I don't know. I still stand by the DK. They have proper initiation, then they'll be good. But just can't find it at all. Getting totally outplayed here. And Spectre is going to get a heart, as I think you mentioned. Has enough for it in just like 300 gold, 200 gold. So yeah, they're in a good position.
Chronosphere. On to maybe. Can't get the damage done. They just don't have the damage. He's going to BKB and split. And Black Z BKB'd as well. Nope, didn't have the damage.
Power
Very
Cox?
close call.
Okay. Interesting. Is that something's following him? Do you see that projectile following all the way to base?
No, let me watch your camera.
So the Spectral Dagger, it's a fireball.
Radiant's bottom tower has been denied.
Followed him all the way just so it could properly miss him.
Yep. Still wanting to see this Crimson Guard though on 333. I'm usually not a fan of the item and when I've been seeing it on Centaurs, but I think it would be really good this game.
It's good in Witch Doctor in general. Against Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
Spec does finish her heart, and she's got 2,800 HP. And an Aegis. I think they should go fight. They've basically been playing reactionary for the most part. And if they just go push, let the Spectre push here, go push elsewhere, push straight down mid, make him come fight you.
Yep, and they want to target him as well because he's just going to do so much pure damage with dispersion. He's got the Aegis. He does not have buyback though. That is the one thing that's kind of not so good. But I'm pretty sure he's fine to live through 2 lives right now.
They're not even going to challenge this. They're just going to try to counter push as a way to try to stop it. So they have to continue to play dodgy Dota.
Bottom tower is under attack.
They don't have a glyph, and he is going to replicate back. Now, yep, there's a fight that's broken out. Spectre trying to follow them in. Void looking for a Chrono. They're a little grouped up here. Tower's going to end up dropping. And now Void goes in, manages to get 3. Going to work immediately on Q. He has to get some help, though. There's going to be a Mystic Flare. Doesn't matter as he BKB'd. He will be able to get 3-3-3 as well. Behind that, though, the Spec is still up and going. Brew also got his split off. Cold Snap already expended his BKB. Buyback necessary on the Clockwork, though. And Dreamy U will be able to wait for him back to safety. He's going to have... Oh, they managed to get XPG from behind with a stone. There's a Force Staff to try to help him out. Brew's going to come back together. There's the reality as they get the kill there. CDEC had the buyback on the Crystal Maiden as well. And what's the buyback status on Void? He has it, as does the Ogre. But I don't think they're going to spend him. I think they know that this is just a flat loss fight. Oh, he is. He is going to come back in. There's the Rock. Finally, CTY gets out there. But it doesn't matter. Spectre's still sitting on Mages. And now behind that, we're going to see 3-3-3 get a great set of cogs down. Cold Snap brought down. Dreamy U trying to morph that strength. Force Staffed. And that's a godlike streak now for the Spectre. Ulti from the Crystal Maiden as a celebratory gesture, if nothing else. And yeah, they're not even... I don't understand this. Like, I understand, like, if it's really close, they just want a major... Oh, now they're going... Now I get it. They're going to the tier 3. I thought they're just going to back off. There's a buyback from the Invoker. At this point, those two buying back, it's basically all in. We're going to see Black Sea go in. That is still an Aegis on the Spectre, by the way. Even if they get him, it doesn't matter, and they finally do. And they're just going to reset and look to go again off of this. Here it comes back up. There's the immediate Hex, but he's so tanky. And CDEC, they can re-engage here. Clock has a hook. Yeah, there's going to be a Chronosphere.
Not that good,
Missed
though.
the Spectre. Yep, only got 3-3-3. They're grouping around Black Sea. He's dead. That was a dieback as well. Oh, the Spectre is very low now. Yes! They do manage to get him with the Morphling from the high ground. Garter pops his Lincolns behind that. There's a Fire Blast on the queue. The Skywrath uses the Ghost Scepter to try to buy himself some time and maybe has another split up. They've been fighting so long. Dreamy U got caught with a Frostbite. He's morphing strength. We'll be able to waveform away. And there's the ulti that actually cleans up the Crystal Maiden from the low ground. Here comes a concussive shot, and that's that Earth Panda running for his life. Has a trail of ill-meaning heroes behind him. Does manage to blink and dodge that tornado, so maybe should make it back. Maybe. That's so weird. It's like my brain does a reset. When I say maybe makes it back, maybe, and then my brain goes, no, that's wrong. You just had a stroke. But anyway, DK manages to hold the line, but not without casualties. Mid-racks both down, and the tier 3 bottom down.
Skywrath's got an Eth blade. Nice. It's going to do a lot of damage here. It can save people as well from auto attacks from Faceless Void. One of the better counters, actually, if you can manage to actually farm it up. God, the Spectre does so much damage too, man. Like, the Dispersion with the extra illusions with the Diffusal Blade just cuts through anyone if they're isolated. Like, it really does. It's just... It was awesome to see how much damage he could do. He's going to come up in 14 seconds. He'll have buyback. And he is just really dictating these fights.
Yep. And the sad thing is, it's just a lack of follow-through from DK. That's really what this match is about at this point. DK had the advantage. I mean, look. They were way ahead. Not so far ahead in experience, but definitely in gold. They had the team that should have peaked much earlier in the game. And they gave it away. CTY, very low involvement. And it cost him. Not just on him, though. I mean, the overall execution was low. Level of execution was low on their team. And CDEC has played balls out and managed to make it work.
I think the big thing this game is why it started to turn is that you had Void free farming literally against Zerong. It looked really, really good. But then they took it to him, and like, he just wasn't expecting this. They're like, wait, why are you ganking me? I'm strong. You should be ganking the weak ones.
You should be scared of me.
And he didn't. He was never on the aggressive with his Chronospheres, and even if they didn't kill him some of the times, all his Chronospheres were defensive as a result. So he could never actually be aggressive on the Spectre, and as a result, she had like a 22-minute Radiance or something like that, which was very good timing.
That's an excellent point. And, you know, we kind of touched on that. Like, the idea of the Void is, like, I don't mind a Void that gets a fair amount of solo farm or you know, just farm priority. I do like to see the Void then get out on the map and start doing things. And that's kind of what we anticipated would happen. But there was a lag there, and I think you're 100% right. CDEC is really due credit for that. I mean, I think there was some decision-making snafus on the side of DK that kind of prevented that as well. But just taking the pressure to him early, sending him back, and buying Spectre time, it's all they had to do. However, this Morphling is still quite large, has 4,800 gold sitting back at the bank, and could finish a Manta if he wants. Still think Butterfly'd be better.
Manta's pretty good about getting, like, Manta's actually really good here because he needs multiple ways to ensure he doesn't get locked down by a silence before he morphs. So if he already uses the BKB, which is probably dwindling down at this point, yeah, it's 8 seconds, so it's not too bad. But if he does fight with his BKB down, if you see it from these fights, they're always long and drawn out. And if he has it off cooldown, the Skywrath's ready with a silence, he just gets owned. So he needs multiple ways to get out of a silence.
And they're going to have a chance to catch someone up here. They ping it out. They know somebody's there, but they're very, very scared to go up there blind. And wisely, they pull back. They actually could have taken that, but I still think that's the right call most of the time.
They also have Ogre plus Void, which you would think would be extremely potent to this stage of the game, but still honestly not seeing that much effect with it. He's doing a very good job about killing these supports in Chronospheres, but not too much more than that.
Well, they're continuing to take the jungle over. Been trying to keep an eye on the Morphling to see what he was going to end up buying here. He spent his gold on something. I just can't figure out what.
With the Morphling?
Yeah, like, oh, Scotty. There we are. For some reason, I was fixated on the Yasha. I was like, why hasn't he finished his Manta? Yeah, he's got a Yasha, or a Scotty now.
Okay. Yeah, not bad. Scotty's a really good item on him. If you can afford it with buyback, it's fine. Still think Manta's really good here, though, for the reasons I said before.
More passivity as we approach an hour. Told you we were going to be here a while. Taking a look at who's performed. Look at that. I mean, the top 3 on the side of CDEC account for 39 kills. That is absurd. Like, okay, so the top 3 account for basically all of their kills. Or 29, excuse me, not 39.
I was going to say, 30. Wait, they have 39 kills.
Exactly. My bad. But Skywrath 10-4, Brew 10-7, died a few more times than he would have liked, but the Spectre bouncing back heavily at 9-4, and he's actually going for a butterfly now. And now there's going to be a jump. And
no.
Wow. Oh, and now the counter initiation. What happened? I heard it hit. Anyway, Black Z going to be engaged upon. There's going to be the Death Ward that goes down. And he's hexed and will be forced back to safety, but CDEC are going to lose their Spectre. Buys back immediately, wants to haunt back in. They're going to end up bringing down Garter behind that XPG's in a lot of trouble. Brew did get a split off. CDEC able to help clean 1 kill up. CTY still up and about, but it's 3 for 1 right now. And soon to be 4 for 1. There's a missed hook that time. Storm Aspect lifts the Morphling. Down he comes. Hostile confines. He's going to try to get away. He has no TP. He does have a replicate. Where did he replicate to? Back here.
To the left, yep.
Yep, the clock was anticipating it. He's got 5 seconds on a hook, and they've got to run all the way back to the base, and there's no tower. EMP thrown, and 333 has to avoid it. He's going to try to throw this hook. Not going to be in range.
Yep. They should just take Roshan now. Or, yeah, they should just take Roshan. They're not going to get enough damage without these heroes respawning in time. So, go take Roshan. That hook was really weird. I think it actually, like, hit Roshan or something. I don't know.
I heard it. It seemed like maybe it was one of those things where your brain fills in the gaps. You hear it, and Void got stunned, right?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe he like time walked, and the hook came and hit him before he actually finished the animation of the time walk, and so it went where the Void was first before he actually went forward. I don't know. It was weird. He time walked into the pit. Then I heard the clockwork hook sound. He was like right here. And maybe a little further forward, like there. And he stopped because he was stunned. And I could have swore I saw the hook even come all the way out and hit him, but then I didn't see clockwork emerge. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen really weird stuff with clockwork hooks around Roshan in the past, so. Oh well. The bigger deal was that the Void completely with the ultimate. Went in confident, but sometimes that can make you look kind of stupid.
That's one of those things you wonder if he was just a little slow to the H key, you know? Went in and wanting to insta-cast it in case they were in there and relying on himself to be able to stop the animation in time and just did. Siege is on, and we're going to see the Spectre go high ground. Got a team behind her, has an Aegis. Has a hell of a lot of health and armor. EMP's going to be there, sap some of her mana. Black Z has a Chrono, but he doesn't want to just spend it on one. He certainly doesn't want to spend it on a Spectre. And he can't find a target. He time walked now. He's going to be caught. And Black Z, once again, misstepping. BKB's and is going to work. In the meantime, they blow everything they have on the Spectre. They will be able to bring her down, at least drop the Aegis. Black Z now has the time to wear on the clockwork, but Brew's going to be able to split. And the clock survived anyway. Spectre back up and will be safe. There's going to be the big-time haunt as they're going to bring down the Morphling. Oh no, he actually managed to waveform through. In the meantime, the Spectre dove all the way to the fountain. And now he's cleaned up. Not sure what happened there. They need to do some work on these racks, though, while they have the opportunity. Now there's going to be a glyph. And they got a bail. And there's a hook from the clockwork, but that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Like, did the Spectre haunt to the fountain? I think that's what
happened.
She did.
Yes, she did. That's some 3-2-2 right there, if I've seen it. He didn't even have to actually reality anything. He could just haunted and just attack the buildings and then free Rex. So I said this last night too. It's funny how carefully and meticulously they'll play, but then they'll make plays like that at the same time.
Yep. $322. I don't know why I think that's so funny. I think it's just exhaustion setting in. I'm finally giving way.
Yep.
I don't have the mental fortitude anymore.
Who
Love
does?
you, Twitch chat. Love you, Twitch chat. All right. Coming up on an hour, and this game is going to get a bit longer because they're going to get at least a tier 2 out of this, if not more. The Spectre does not want to buy back. They can't, actually. I forgot she bought back about 3 minutes ago. So they're going to be able to push straight through here. And I don't know how they fight without the Spectre. And the Brew split, it will be up soon. But if they took note of the time that Spectre bought back, yeah, they're going up confident. They know that there's not going to be any buyback at all in CDEC, for Spectre anyway.
Yep, and oh my god, Alacrity plus Morphling is insane. They need to start going now. Oh, Brew, he actually blinks out defensively. They need to go in, though. They need to go in before the Spectre comes up.
Yep, and now they're going to go. 333 leads the way. Mystic Clear actually pulls Black Z in. He's BKB'd and trying to fight it out. In the meantime, maybe does get a split off. Spectre's back up. Does not have Haunt for 5 seconds. There's going to be a chrono. He's going to go to work on the Pandas. There's going to be another hook that was shot by 333. Did not connect. CTY doing what damage he can. In the meantime, a waveform on the Morphling. And the Haunt up now. We're going to see Spec caught from behind. But they're going to reset and go again. There's going to be a Fire Blast onto the Spectre. Waveform through, catches 2 of them. There's going to be an excellent Death Ward. And the disarm onto the Spectre means she's got to run. BK, oh, just blew that Crystal Maiden up in one fell swoop. Did Dreamy You. And trying to buy enough time for Cold Snap, who will make it away at least temporarily. There's going to be a concussive shot and a hook from 333, as well as a silence onto the Morphling. That knocks him back. Spectre right behind him. And Brew caught him from behind as well with the Drunken Haze. So it took a while, but they not only ran them out, they preserved their racks, and now they're ready to take what could be a victory march down mid. The buybacks are not handy. Morphling, actually, he's going to have a buyback just by passive gold here in just a minute. Invoker has it, but he's still standing. The Crystal Maiden can buy back if she needs to for CDEC, but the Ogre might have to buy back as well. And this is a big wave coming, too.
Yep, there's the Ogre buyback. And yeah, I think, how much time does he have on his... Okay, he'll have buyback in about 12 seconds or so.
Yep. On
the Morphling. So that's okay, but that might be all the time that CDEC needs here.
Yep.
It is, yeah.
It's hard. So close. Passive gold. And once again, they go after the melee racks last when they could have taken that very easily if she'd have just stayed around for 1 more second.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose the range over melee right there. Interesting stuff, but yeah, it'll be 3 racks instead of 4, unfortunately, for CDEC, but they're okay.
Oh, we'll see them reset and try again. Take a look at the net worth. Morphling is still on top, as are they. 3 of the 4 from DK in the overall net worth chart are at the top, so still a hurdle to overcome. We can see, actually, CDEC took the lead for the first time in like 45 minutes, basically, and then gave it back slightly, and just the death of the racks have got it turning back down towards them. But it's about time they close this game out. They don't need to let the Morphling and the Invoker get any more items, I don't think.
Something tells me Invoker's not going to do too much, though. Like, it's really hard for him to fight in these lineups. Even just the Spectre Haunt just kind of disrupts him too much. And Spectre's going to have buyback for this next fight, which is really, really big. Unfortunately, he can't buy his Diffusal Blade to re-upgrade it, but buyback's way more important.
The Morphling, I think, is going to have to sell something. He has to get an MKB or they're never going to kill this Spectre. Like, they're just never going to do it. And the Void doesn't have an MKB either. He went Mjolnir with a Refresher. And unless he buys bots and then builds an MKB, like, they just have no reliable damage against her with the Butterfly.
I'm so interested to see that a lot of Void players are not getting Ags. It's funny, because I used to hate Ags when I first started getting popular. Burning was the first one I saw actually using it a lot. I was like, Ags, are you kidding me? But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's really, really good. We haven't seen this game. They haven't fought too much around the Chronosphere effectively, but here we go. Push aggressively from DK.
This is a last stand kind of push. They know they're running out of time. And they have nothing to account for the Spectre. Hook catches nothing but Forge Spirits. They're going to lose their barracks if they don't engage. There's going to be the cogs to go down to try and preserve the melee racks. And they're kind of grouped up on the low ground if they want to decide to come out on them. Spectre Illusion's coming out just to buy time. Rock even dropped. That seemed a little preemptive from CTY. He may want that here in a minute. And the cooldown on it is kind of rough. 45 seconds. They're going to pull back. So CDEC manages to preserve their melee racks there. And now they're going to have a chance to go for the counter initiative.
Yep. God, that's actually really good if they get that melee racks. Defend that Black Z. And Roshan will respawn. Well, I guess we find out the exact time in like, what, 10, 15 seconds or something like that?
Yep.
I still have some trouble actually figuring that out, but...
Oh, no, I'm the same way.
So this is like static. That's the same every time, and then this will be 1 to 3 minutes. Is that right?
This'll come in handy.
Here we go. And boomskis there. See how it highlighted?
Yeah.
Yep, so 1 minute, 20 seconds, give or take.
Okay. But it can be as low as 1 minute, right? And then as many as 3? Or is it 4?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, whatever. I should know this. God, I'm such an idiot.
46 kills tallied just for CDEC. 76 across this entire match in a 62-minute match, so you can't complain that it's been too quiet. CDEC once again has reclaimed the lead in terms of gold. On the other hand, they've had the lead in experience for a long time as well, and they almost gave it back as they let DK catch up to 0, but since then they've continued to pile it on. The net worth, 3 of the top 4 belong to DK, but it's the Spectre that's, wow, Spectre's on top by 20 gold. And yeah, like 1 creep is making the difference between number 1 and number 2 position. DK wants to run at the base again. They have to be so careful, but again, unless they don't have an MKB, like if they screw up at all, Spectre's gonna kill everybody.
Yep, Alacrity, here we go. Sit.
They're dropping everything on her. See? Can't kill her. And she's going to be able to BKB, and now they're going to turn around. CTY once again drops before he adds any value whatsoever. Q gets off a little bit of his ulti, but is brought down by Dreamy You. Now we've got Maybe looking to split. A lot of damage being done. Will he get it off? He does. And now Black Z drops behind the fight, and they're on the run. Crystal Maiden did buy back. Spectre did not have to. There's going to be a Tornado EMP. But they're trying to damage the Spectre, but there's no reliable damage at all. Nice Cask buys a little bit of time with the rock. Heat-seeking rock finds XBG over in the woods, and the Pandas actually stop pursuing him out. There's going to be 1 tossed into the air. That's the Witch Doctor. Concussive shot catches XBG. Oh, beautiful Mystic Flare. Cold Snap barely able to survive. Now there's a Chrono. Going to work on Garter. In the meantime, the Spectre is hovering around outside. There's the E-Blade to bring Garter down. 3-3-3 does going to drop as well. Buyback on the Skywrath Mage now as Dreamy You tallies a double kill. Spectre barely evades that Tornado. Q, who's already bought back, is cutting it close. 4 staffs up to the high ground. A nutty fight. A lot of buybacks expended on both sides. And yeah, there's going to be another one even as the Clockwork wants the buyback now.
Yeah, I've seen some games where Roshan and Aegis is not that effective, where it's just kind of like a little bit of an added bonus, but it's massive here for CDEC. Like throwing an Aegis on the Spectre is, he's gonna have to move something. I really think he needs it though. It's so good on him. I think he still has buyback though. Let me check. Okay, he still has buyback, so maybe they don't throw it on him. Maybe they put it on the Panda instead. But he doesn't even have room either.
Clockwork maybe?
Yeah, it's gonna be the clock, I guess.
Yep.
It's so good on Spectre though, but oh well.
I wouldn't have minded if he dropped his boots.
I don't know. He's not a very fast hero, so I think he needs those. Also because when you reality or when you haunt, your illusions are gonna get really slow too, and your illusions from your Manta. So
Jim on the ground. Just pointing that out. I forgot the like observers can ping him. Jim on the ground. But yeah, this is looking very tough for DK, to put it mildly. And again, it's such a shame because they had so much going for them. Look at the buyback timers, by the way. All of them but 4 are currently on cooldown at 4 minutes or over. Check that. The Witch Doctor didn't buy back. He just broke. But it's going to be on the Morphling. Like, basically, the Morphling's the only hero that has buyback. Everyone else trying to defend is going to have to be going raw dog about it. He does get an MKB. He needed that so badly.
Well, he won't have buyback, so if he dies, it's over. Because he is the primary damage dealer in these fights. And here goes Spectre.
Jeez. Leading with the chin, zoning him out. There's going to be a Chrono, but oh no! The Tornado tossed him into the air! Dreamy is trying to focus him down, and they will not be able to get him down. As he manages to slip away. In the meantime, 3-3-3 got the call down. They're going to try to reset. Here comes the Brew. BKB going right after them and pulling him off of these racks. Still has to split if he wants and needs it. Oh, that's such a misstep. that lost time might have been enough when he was... Oh, now they're going to go in again. And they should be able to get the Spectre this time. They also get the Aegis. And... no! Manta! No, does not manage to make it away. No, Garter's turn. He's being focused down. Behind that, we see another set of cogs go down. Cold Snap's going to die amidst them. Brew finally uses that split. Chasing down XBG, going to chase him all the way back. There's a buyback from the Spectre, though. And this might be that. The Morphling's still up, but with Black Z biffing it. No buyback for him. Dreamy used their last hope. 333, going to cog him backwards. And there's a Fire Blast onto the Spec. Spec has to be careful. Morphling can actually do a lot of damage. 333's trying to do anything he can to help. Finally, they bring him down. Now they're going to be able to turn on the Morphling. 3 heroes with more than 100 seconds time until they respawn. Brew is outside, but has no mana and no health. 333, tanky as he is, can't survive, has to extricate himself. No, Waveform with the Fire Blast to follow up. Double kill for Dreamy U. And they hold the line. They lost another set of racks, but the game ain't over.
Well, the Void's certainly delivering with his Chronos now. Like, they're... I mean, that one that we first saw was unfortunate. I think that was just a miscommunication between the Invoker and himself. Yep. But even then, the as you saw, the Skybreath was ready with the Eth Blade, just to throw it onto the Spectre. But the second one was really good after that. And Morphling is just hitting so damn hard. I think he still has a buyback too. Let me double check. He does.
Yeah,
and the Spectre
the MKB was so necessary, man. He had to get that, and it came out just in time.
Yep, and he's actually botched up top. There's no buyback on everybody. Except the Brew is up, but he doesn't have split for another 10, but he's not too effective on his own. Dreamy is just going to take melee racks in the mid.
And Brew's going to come and try to do something. And there's the Crystal Maiden, force out the BKB. He will be able to get the racks, and he will be able to replicate after he kills this poor CM. Actually, doesn't quite get her. She uses her Ghost Scepter. But he does manage to make it back to safety. So, manages to bring down the melee racks in mid and get this game a little closer back to even. Speaking of, look at this. It's like an EKG now, man. Up and down, but that wave has gotten to be no larger than 2,500 gold for a while now.
Yeah, also another little minor thing that I think could have made... Sounds funny, but it could have made a big difference. Is Spectre, right before she died and bought back, she wanted to die and buy back. That was her intention. She popped her Manta, which gave out illusions that had like 100 HP, which don't do anything. They died in a second. And I think that actually could have made a big difference. If she haunts back with full HP Manta, just more illusions to do more damage and stay in the fight the entire duration of the Manta. I think it actually does make a considerable difference, but got a little hasty there towards the end of her first death.
There's an Abyssal on the Brewmaster. Nice pickup for him. And Brew is going to be one of those heroes. Oh, wow. Just flat missed it. Did he short it? No, that should have been in range. I don't know what happened. He just shorted it.
Selfish.
Anyway, that Brew is going to be one of those saving grace heroes, or have the potential to be. The
hook.
Abyssal. Up, hang on. Up at top. That's the Invoker caught out. They're going to try to pursue him out. Tornado's thrown. BKB was used. And this is a very dangerous place to fight. Void held on to the Chrono that time. Now the Ghost Scepter, but there's going to be that Abyssal. In comes the clock as well, and they managed to bring down the Void. Void doesn't have buyback, doesn't have a gold, and doesn't have it via time. Maybe now leading the charge with the Primal Split. CTY going to be caught with the rock. In the meantime, there's an ult from the Witch Doctor. Force Staff gets CTY back to safety, but XBG now being chased as well. 333 right on their tail. Dreamy U is left behind. There's going to be a cast that does get a couple of fortuitous bounces, and CTY going to cover their tracks before being tossed into the air. What's important is the Morphling still alive, but so is the Spectre. XBG down. There's going to be a hook, and they got Morphling. Can they keep him hemmed in? No. Had Waveform off of cooldown. And nonetheless, the only hero on that entire side with buyback is the Morphling, and as big as he is, he can't do it alone.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yep. Oh, man, what a nice fight. Like, maybe he's doing so much in these fights. If you saw the canceling with the Yules onto the Witch Doctor ulti was pretty damn big. This constant amazing hooks from this Clockwork, and it just finally all collapsed right there. I thought it was going to be bad because they wasted the Spectre Haunt right at the beginning, but just the power of maybe in the Panda with the Abyssal Blade. That's what it was. The Abyssal Blade on to the Void. Killed him before he was able to cast anything. GG's called out. It's 72 minutes, just about.
Makes me feel smart. I was in the process of saying that he was going to be a saving grace hero with the Abyssal Blade.
He was.
And got interrupted as he was being the saving grace hero with that Abyssal. CDEC takes game 1 after a 70-minute marathon. 71 minutes and 46 seconds exactly, actually. 16-4 on Dreamy U's Morphling, not enough to get them over the hump. It took CDEC a long time to finally close this one out, but again, you know, CDEC played so well, and DK, even though they seem to have had a big advantage, just never capitalized on it. They never really pushed it up to that next level, and CDEC was happy to outplay him for 70 minutes to get the win. I've
never seen fantasy points that high, too, for the Brewmaster. 21.9. Wow. That's a personal high for me. I've never seen it higher than that, so... Yeah, nicely played, maybe showing that despite my critical... Or me saying that I think Brewmaster kind of falls off in the end, he certainly didn't. In fact, he was stronger than ever at the end, as you mentioned with the Abyssal. And it was that kill. First he started off with the Abyssal, he got two or three amazing crits onto the Void, and then right before Void was able to cast BKB, or actually he was BKB'd, but right before he was able to cast the ulti, the Clockwork came in to kind of disjoint any more animations from him. So, well played by the Clock and the Brewmaster at the end there.
Well played on both sides, but one a little bit better. That's CDEC, as they now lead this series 1-0. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast, guys. This is game 1 of the front end of our Eastern doubleheader tonight. Of course, CDEC and DK both playing for a lot. CDEC with this win basically guarantees himself a high seed in the bubble race, if not a direct seed straight to Vegas. I mean, they are doing that well right now, and this is a very big deal. And CDEC, again, a team, even though we had Newbie drop out and Beachy didn't participate, when you're talking about the class of China, you talk about Invictus Gaming and LGD. Those are the two that you would have assumed would be in the best shape, but they're really not. And LV Gaming, actually, as a matter of fact, is the other big challenger right now for the direct seed that goes to first place after the overall group standings are complete. But CDEC definitely on par and wants to keep this rolling. Again, thanks for being a part of the broadcast. We'll be right back here in just a couple of minutes for Game 2 of CDEC versus DK. Stick with us.